Hello, my name is Anya Evanson. Today I want to share a little story, and I just want to preface this story by saying that I am not sharing this to make myself sound like a better person than anyone else. It's not to show off. My purpose behind sharing this is really just to encourage other people to engage in random acts of kindness, step out of your comfort zone, listen to your gut, and if you know the grace of God, to just share that grace of God with others. So maybe 3 times a week in the morning, I bike down to this park in downtown Charleston called Waterfront Park. And it's a beautiful park. It has a long dock that you can walk down. It has fountains and usually a lot of tourists. I like doing this in the morning to kind of find a sense of peace within myself before I start my day, to pray and say thanks to the universe and just kind of be alone. If this already sounds like absurd behavior to you, I strongly recommend incorporating something like this into your day where you can find that sense of peace, because I can guarantee you it will drastically improve your day, and you never know what kind of opportunities you might encounter, like the one I had on this one particular day. So last week I biked down to the park, and I got there, I started walking down the dock, I took out my headphones, and I'm looking out at the water, and I'm just kind of finding this peace within myself. And I start saying my thanks, and I start praying just about whatever comes to mind. And then as I'm praying, I look over to my right, and I see this middle-aged, maybe 40-something-year-old black man sitting down, just kind of scrolling through his phone. He doesn't look homeless by any means, but he doesn't really look well off, you could say. So I decided to pray for him too. And as I'm praying, I just get this feeling come over me that translates into a voice in my head that says, Anya, you can't just pray for this man. You need to go over there and pray with him. Immediately in my head, I was like, nope, sorry, not bold enough for that. I am just going to continue on with my meditation now. Well, that didn't work out so well. After about 3 minutes of me trying to regain this sense of peace within myself, I realized that this voice will not leave me alone and that it just keeps nagging at me. I start getting anxious and I'm like, okay, Anya, you're just psyching yourself out right now. This is just something that you've been told to do in church. This isn't something people actually do, right? I do not know this man at all. This man did not ask me to come over there and pray with him. You don't actually have to go over there and pray with him. This is actually really weird if you think about it. So after I decide that I'm not bold enough to go talk to him, I look around and I realize that suddenly nobody is on the dock with us. And this is kind of strange because there's usually a lot of tourists around, and there was a lot of tourists on the pier, but right on the dock where we were at, nobody was there anymore. And to me, it just felt like the universe was opening up an opportunity for me to go talk to him without being embarrassed about anybody else seeing me or embarrassed about what anyone else was going to think. So I look over at him and he's kind of rubbing his brow. He doesn't look like he might be having the best day in the world, but he also doesn't look like he's waiting for some 23-year-old sweaty white girl in a sports bra to come up and pray with him. Then, as I'm looking over at him for the 15th time, thinking I can't do this, suddenly a new feeling comes over me. And this time it's a feeling that translates into a voice in my head that says, Anya, you're being taken care of. You're protected. And nothing bad can come of this situation. At that moment, I knew I had to do this. So I look out at the water, I look back at him, I look out at the water, I look back at him. I was so nervous, I felt like I was standing on a 40-foot cliff about to jump into this ice-cold, freezing water. Not that it was actually freezing. But you know that feeling you get when you're about to take a leap like that, and you feel like the longer you stand there and wait, maybe that cliff will shrink down 10 feet, but it's really not gonna do anything. Well, finally I looked over at him, and I said, hey, do you come relax here often? I said something really stupid, okay? The intro to the conversation was truly really dumb. But anyhow, he said, yeah, I do. I relax here. I come here before work. And I asked him where he worked, and then he told me, and then he asked me what I was doing, and I just told him. And then I asked him, do you believe in God? What happened next was really what affirmed all of those feelings I had had inside of me earlier, telling me that this is what I needed to do. He answered, yeah, sure. And I said, I don't know why I feel like this has been put on my heart, but I was wondering if you might want somebody to pray with about something. And instead of rejecting me and acting like I was rude for intruding on his personal life or like a freak for asking these types of questions, he opened up to me and he said, yeah, that would be really nice. So I went and sat down with him. I introduced myself officially, and I asked him if he had anything going on in his life right now. He told me about his daughter, who he hasn't seen in 18 years. Her mother hasn't let him see her for 18 years because she's just held their separation against him for that long, and therefore just not let him have a relationship with his daughter. More recently, though, he's been in communication with her a little bit more, and he's been trying to see her. That's actually who he was texting when I was looking at him earlier. As you can imagine, she's not very happy with him. She does have a good bit of resentment in her heart towards him. He also probably does not feel like the best father in the world. But the beautiful thing was, I could just tell by his voice and how he looked at me and how he talked about it, that he has so much love for this girl, and all he wants to do is just become a good father. I took his hands and we prayed. I prayed for forgiveness on both ends. I prayed for a hope for a better future. I prayed for the resentment in her heart to go away and that she would be able to feel the love that he has for her. After we finished, he looked at me with such gratitude and appreciation and thanked me that once again, that just reaffirmed all of those feelings that I had had earlier telling me to do this, and just made me know that that was indeed the right thing to do. The purpose of me telling this story is not to talk about something good that I've done or exemplify the perfect Christian. I am by no means the perfect Christian. I would just say that I am a religious person with an open mind and an open heart. I'm just very spiritual. To do something like this, I don't think requires some sort of religious qualifications. I don't even think you need to be a Christian. I don't think you need to be any particular religion. I think you can be an open-minded, caring, loving person and be an atheist and still do something like this. My reason for spreading this message isn't to go and tell everybody to go out there and start praying for everybody constantly. I just wanted to represent the fact that we need to be there for other human beings when we feel called to. When we get that gut feeling inside of us that tells us to go help this person or be there for this person or ask this person how they're doing, just smile at this person. We need to listen to this intuition and act on those feelings. Little acts of kindness can go a long way. We might never know how much it'll mean to another person, but I think that by sharing one little act of kindness and doing one thing for one person, it helps so many more people than we even realize, because that is how kindness is spread. And this world so desperately needs that. I'm actually wondering why it has become a standard in society to keep things that we do for other people private. Why we don't share stories like this, because it's going to keep us humble. So it doesn't seem like we're showing off. If nobody shares the good things that we're doing, nobody's gonna know that doing good things for other people is normal. This is exactly why I felt like I was about to jump off a 40-foot cliff just by going and talking to this guy. Because you don't see people doing this. You don't hear about people doing this. Instead, all we're hearing about is all the bad things people are doing in the world. We turn on the news and we just hear about the killings and the shootings and everything awful everyone's doing. Why don't we have a station that's just broadcasting all the great things people are doing? What if doing things like this was so normal and we just saw it and heard about it so often and all the time that it just came naturally to us? What if doing acts of kindness wasn't embarrassing? What would the world look like? I just want to encourage everybody today to step out of your comfort zone, and just when you get that gut feeling, when you hear that inner voice telling you to do something good, just do it. Just jump off of that cliff, because you will never know how much that might mean to the other person. I hope to run into this man again and hear about him meeting his daughter and hear about something beautiful that happened that I was able to be a part of. Whether it was just putting a smile on his face that day or giving him the confidence to move forward in faith, I'm just glad that I was a part of it. I hope to hear more stories like this. I hope to hear bigger and better stories than this, and heck, maybe even start a kindness movement. Has there been one of those yet? I don't think we have enough people employed in the kindness industry right now. The situation that I encountered with this man left an imprint on my heart. I hope it left an imprint on his heart, and I hope that it leaves an imprint on your heart. So I just hope that you share this word and that you share your love and your kindness with the world. Talk to you soon.